Brett Dawson at Moda Center in Portland. Don't mind the strange camera angle. We work with what we got. The Thunder, 134-91 winners against the Portland Trailblazers on a night when OKC never really gave the Blazers a chance. This could have been a tricky game. Second night of a back-to-back. Thunder got in late last night from San Francisco. Had to play at 6 p.m., so a slightly early start, coming off a pretty emotional, pretty exhausting win over the Warriors to complete a 2-game sweep at Chase Center. And the Thunder just never really let the Blazers have a chance in this one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 28 points on what was kind of a light night. Really no chance to guard him for the Blazers. Chet Holmgren had 16, same thing. Really good second quarter and didn't have to do a whole lot else. Isaiah Joe made 5 of 6 3-pointers and had 15 points. But this was a team effort and a mature effort, I think, from this Thunder team. 22 3-pointers, you can't account for the hot shooting, but what you can't account for is approach. And I think the Thunder really approached this game the right way. A lot of talk after the game from Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe, the players who met with reporters, about the maturity of this team. And the same thing from Mark Daigneault, said that was a good word for it, mature. This is the kind of game where maybe a young team takes it for granted. Portland is in a rebuilding phase. They're kind of, as Chauncey Billups talked about, they're kind of where the Thunder was just a few years ago. Some good young talent on this team, not proven, identities not sort of discovered yet, roles not settled into. And so the Thunder are kind of something that these Blazers can aspire to. And those Thunder teams, while they often got run off the court, were also pretty competitive and like to kind of spoil things for better teams. The Blazers have some of that in them. Even when they fall behind, they tend to fight back. And the Thunder kind of put them helplessly behind early, didn't have to worry too much about any kind of run. The Blazers came out in the third quarter, some boos as they were coming off the floor at the end of the first half. And came out with a different kind of energy, a 10-2 run out of the gate, but it was fleeting, didn't last. OKC put the foot on the gas, made a bunch of three-pointers, and that was the story of the night. 22 threes, the best true shooting percentage in franchise history, the best, one of the best shooting performances from any team this season in the NBA. Just a complete juggernaut of an offensive performance, really unstoppable. And it was a product of the Thunder just getting great shots. The ball moved. A lot of guys who haven't played a lot got in the game. Trey Mann played early in the game, logged quite a few minutes. Alexei Pokusevski got in the game. You saw a lot of minutes from Lindy Waters, guys who haven't played a whole lot. And Mark Daigneault was sort of weaving those guys into the rotation even in the first half. He used 11 guys in the first quarter. Clearly a strategy from a guy who not only was a little short-handed, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, unavailable today with a hip injury that he suffered against the Warriors last night, but also had a team that was tired, frankly, should have been and was a little tired and didn't really play that way. But Daigneault did a pretty good job, I think, of stretching that rotation out, getting a lot of guys minutes early, making sure that nobody had to do too much work in that first quarter. Thunder had plenty of gas if they needed it. They mostly used it to blow by the Blazers. Just really not much resistance from Portland. This was a game, I think, that said a little something more about the Thunder than you might think. That those 2 wins in Golden State, the most impressive piece of this road trip, particularly Saturday night when Steph Curry's back in the lineup and the Thunder really, come back from 18 down. It's kind of the sort of game that you might even think of as kind of an announcement by this Thunder team that it had arrived. This one is a quieter statement, but I think a statement still from a group of guys who came out, really took care of business, mature, professional, didn't let the Blazers hang around and closed up this road trip in style without having to stress too much. I think that says something about the confidence of this team, the approach. They're in a really good place right now. 10-4, the first 10-win team in the Western Conference. Effectively tied for Minnesota at the top of the league. The Timberwolves are 9-3. So the Thunder's on a roll. This is a highly successful trip. Isaiah Joe was on fire the whole time, 5 of 6 tonight from 3. Chet Holmgren, I think, carried over a little bit of his offensive performance, the 36 points against the Warriors. You could see some of that confidence really swelling up in him in that second quarter tonight. And I think some of that comes from, as Mark Daigneault said after the game, he's a confident guy, a confident player to begin with. But I think he really had something to build off of from that Golden State game. So a lot to feel good about for the Thunder. Going to go home basically tied for first place in the West, just percentage points behind. Get a couple of days off. This has been a pretty grueling schedule to start. So a couple of days off for the Thunder in the lightest week really so far this season. Won't play until Wednesday when Chicago comes to town, a game Thunder will be favored to win. And then a really exciting game on Saturday when Philadelphia comes to OKC, one of the teams that's one of the few teams in the league that has a better net rating, offense, defense, than the Thunder. So, and a chance to see Chet Holmgren match up with Joel Embiid for the first time. So really fun week ahead, but the Thunder closed out a really successful week. Lots of good stuff here from both San Francisco and Portland. We'll have a lot of coverage up at selloutcrowd.com. And as always, you can follow postgame reports here on my YouTube page. We'll talk to you soon.